A lot better now I'm down here.
It's cold enough.
It's warm to me. It's springtime back up north. Yeah, it was the first time in January I've had a tornado warning. It was just snowing up north.
Leo, you good?
Good.
First question. All right, we'll get going here. First question will be Chris Neat from 47 over on your left.
Yep.
You good, Derek?
Notice the arm sling is gone. Just an update on how your shoulder is doing, how you feel, and what you expect as far as getting prepped for the spring.
Shoulder sling's off. I mean, that's probably been the highlight of my spring so far. I just got it cleaned up, and I'm getting revamped back in the weight room, getting more active. I've really been able to do everything so far, just kind of limited with what I can do with the arm, but we're getting back at it, and it's getting healthy.
Next will be Irish O'Fell from Warchant.
So,
Hey, Braden, if you can take us back to the process of deciding to enter the portal and then just kind of what that process was like for you.
it was. I mean, it was a pretty crazy process. Coming to the end of my senior year, I was kind of conflicted of what I was going to do coming up for the following spring, and it was going to be between enter the draft, stay at my school, and then literally like in a matter of 3 days, I came up with the decision I was actually going to enter the draft, and then my coach got fired, and I kind of figured out the situation with my shoulder a little bit deeper. And then the best situation it felt for me was like, hey, like I think I should enter the portal, kind of see what my options are, kind of see where I should go from here. And my old school wasn't too sure about which direction they were going with head coach. So once I entered, I mean everything kind of just exploded, and I got a lot more attention than I expected. And I just started taking visits here and there. And Florida State was one of the first schools, especially Coach Norvell was one of the first head coaches that actually FaceTime me, face-to-face contact, really reach out and try to make communication, and that was a big deal for me. So, it was a pretty crazy, hectic process, but I couldn't be happier with where I'm at now, especially being in warm weather,
We'll go back to your left for Zach from Knowles 247.
Yeah.
What's up, Braden? Welcome to Tallahassee. I guess just can you kind of break down some of what went into the recruiting process in the transfer portal, how different it was kind of from your high school process, and then just ultimately why was it Florida State?
I mean, as far as difference, I mean, it was night and day compared to how it was coming out of high school. I mean, coming out of high school, I don't even know what the star ranking was. I wasn't too into that yet. I was more worried about just getting an offer in general. I mean, I didn't really have much going into my senior year. I mean, me and my dad probably went to maybe 25, 30 camps trying to get that first offer. I really stayed more in the region of the Midwest, more of the MAC schools, Big Ten schools. Couldn't really pull anything, and about halfway through my summer, I pulled my first offer from Western Michigan, and really about 4 days later, I was like, the first school to offer me, it's probably the best situation for me. They must really want me, so I kind of pulled the trigger on that, and that was a great move for me. But then moving into the transfer portal, like I said earlier, it just absolutely exploded. Every school across the country was reaching out, just trying to talk, trying to see where my head was at with the process, what I saw myself as in their program, and Florida State was, they made a big impression. They probably came and saw me 3 times up at home before I even got down here to campus. So that was a big deal for me. Just I could tell, like, the reach out they were making and the attempt that they were making to get me down here was huge. And just the personal relationship I grew with Coach Norvell, Coach Higgins, and Coach Fuller. I think, they're probably 2 or 3 of the top recruiters in the country as far as, what I was able to see throughout my process, and just how personal they are with just not just me, but my family and who I am as a person, not just a player.
You mentioned Coach Higgins, and he's been at Florida State for a long time, and they produced a lot of impressive defensive tackles. Did that play into it? Were you aware of the history at all, or did you do some research during the process?
It was more of like doing the research during the process. I was familiar with Florida State obviously beforehand, but just like as far as like Coach Higgins being here for as long as he has, and just his experience with, guys making it to the league, and just throughout this through their college career, the development was big for me as well. Like, he's a big fundamentals guy, which we kind of went over on my visit, and when he came and saw me, which that was a big deal for me. But not just that, he's he's a genuine guy to be around. He's very personable, like, he cares about you, and since I've been up here, they're on the road recruiting, but at the same time, he's always calling me, always checking in on me, and stuff like that's a big deal for me, because this is more than just a game at times. You got to build those relationships and, really trust the people you're working with.
Next will be
Hey, Braden. Good morning. Looking at, the room you're coming into, I guess, what have been kind of your early impressions being around the other defensive tackles, the other guys on the defensive line? And just, what's it like being a part of probably a more talented defensive tackle room than you were at Western Michigan?
It's huge. I mean, nothing against my old school. I mean, we had a lot of good guys there too. But just being here with the guys with a lot of experience. I mean, Verse, Fabo, Farmer. I mean, there's a bunch of guys. Daryl coming in too. It's just one. I mean, the competition's huge for practice. I mean, you're always pushing each other to be better. You're fighting for spots. I mean, that's a big deal. But on the same side, just being in a room with a lot of talent. I mean, that's what it takes. To make a college football playoff push at this league or just at this division. I mean, you got to have a deep room because, we're big bodies. We got to get rolling. I mean, there's going to be teams that are going on 9, 10, 11, 12 play drives. You got to be able to rotate guys. And if there's no drop-off, then you're in a pretty good position. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. So a lot to be done spring and fall, but I like where we're at.
We'll go back to Zach on your left.
Was there a major difference in how Florida State recruited you compared to some of the other schools that reached out to you in the portal?
Yeah, I would say, just as, the consistency was a big one, but when I say consistency, I don't mean like always push me every single day, but just like in the way they would interact with me on like a daily or weekly basis, it wasn't too pushy, but it was just enough to where it was like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, where you at in the process? And, I really appreciated that because there was definitely some schools in the process where every single day it's like, Coach, like nothing's changed from yesterday to today, which I mean that in the most respectful way because I get what they're trying to do in the process, but yeah, Florida State actually, they did a great job just, reaching out to my parents at a timely basis and reaching out to me, just making sure everything was good. And it was also attractive that, one of my roommates in college, Wyatt Rector, came down here and, I had that insight from him just to how the program rolled and, how he, his experience and how it went for him. And that helped me a lot just coming down here and really getting that feel, okay, like somebody's gone through this and now like I have that, kind of base off of. So it was really cool.
All right, next question will be on Zoom from Matt Baker from the Tampa Bay Times.
Yeah, how's it going?
Hey, Braden, I'm going to follow up on that. What did Wyatt tell you about what to expect from Florida State and this staff as transfer?
Yeah, he just said it's what you see when you come here. All the coaches are who they are, like when they're talking to you and your family, and just how good of a time he's had since he's been down here, like how much like he's loved football, and obviously for him being closer to home is a big deal, but yeah, just how awesome the experience has been for him and with Coach Norvell and, his position group and whatnot. Just like the overall experience of Florida State for him has been great and very authentic was a big word he would use, so I really appreciated that.
Go back to Ira, second row on your right.
Yeah.
You said you've been able to take part in some of the workouts type stuff so far. Have you gotten an impression of the caliber of athletes like the Florida State has, and what's that said to you?
Yeah, definitely. Especially looking at younger guys. Recruiting at this level is obviously a little different. You're getting more play-ready guys, when they come in. I'm looking at some of the DBs and linebackers, and man, like the development is just crazy of like how they come in at this level compared to where I was, which is no slack in other schools. It's just, the different levels of recruiting, which, I appreciate. It's like, wow, like these kids are coming in ready to play. It takes probably 1 year to develop here rather than 2, 3. In my old school, like you're not really ready to play until junior, senior year. Here, freshmen are coming in. It's like, wow, like these guys could probably play right now. But yeah, just overall, just like the different types of guys we got around the building. It's like, wow, like this is a really, really good team, and I haven't really been a part of that, so it's pretty fun. Yeah.
Go back to Zach on your left.
Yeah.
Has Coach Norvell, Coach Fuller kind of outlined how they specifically want to use you along the defensive line here?
Nothing too specific. I have some versatility. You can see that on my film. I played across the board at pretty much every single position, whether I'm standing up or in a 4-point head up on the nose. I've played it all. But yeah, kind of just where I fit in the best, and to make the most effective defensive line with the best depth as far as who we got across the board. Yeah, but no specifics yet. It'll really be a spring and fall that'll determine all that once we get the pads on.
Braden, Coach Norvell's been really active in bringing in this roster together with a lot of guys from the transfer portal, and he's mentioned to us in the media about how important it is to him that he's talked to the players about, I will not bring anybody into this locker room that won't fit in. It's a real big part of his sort of profile of figuring out who's going to fit in here. Have you seen kind of like a certain vibe to this program, to this locker room that makes you feel comfortable and how you'll fit in?
Yeah, that was actually, a big reason why I chose Florida State was like the vibe I got from the program of where this program is headed, especially Coach Norvell, his energy, but the players feed off of that. And, just like there's an expectation here to win now, and that was a big deal for me because I'm in a win now scenario with my last year coming up, and I could tell like this is a championship program, and that's the feel you get walking around the building. Like with the players here, I mean it's unbelievable. I've never been a part of something like this. I mean, the way guys hold each other accountable, the way like the seniors and like the leaders of the team are like outspoken and they're not afraid to speak up. Like that's how you build a championship culture, and like they got it here. And for the transfers coming in, it's an easy transition because most of us are coming for one goal, and that's to play and that's to win. And whatever it takes to do that, that's what we're willing to do. And it's for me, it's come in, fall in line, earn the respect, and get to work. And with everything going on here already, I think just adding what we can is going to be really special, and I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Go back to Ira, second row there.
So often when I think media and fans, we look at players, especially in the line of scrimmages, like heights and weights, but what makes somebody a good defensive lineman?
I mean, you got to be a tenacity, and you got to be a real mean guy. I mean, not really mean. I just you got to be physical at the point of the tackle. You got to be relentless when you get up there. I mean, there's no friends between that line of scrimmage, and you just got to be willing to attack. And you're working as a four-man group. It's similar to offensive line. That's what people don't really look at. But it's not really a solo game with the defensive line. You're working with everybody across the board. I mean, you're attacking the quarterback. You got to keep that guy in there, and everyone's working to get there. But yeah, it's a group effort up there, but at the same time, I mean, you just got to be a relentless guy, which I think that's what we got here. It's pretty fun to see, yeah.
All right, next question will be on Zoom. Logan Robinson from Knoll Game Day.
Yeah.
How you doing, Braden? Welcome to Tallahassee.
Yeah, thank you.
Fabian Levitt announced that he was coming back and returning to FSU, and you'll be playing alongside him. How excited are you for that, and how's your relationship begun with Levitt?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. If he was a good guy, I mean, he's one of the funnier dudes I've met in the locker room. I mean, he's just a genuine dude, and you can tell his work ethic. He's a really, really good player, and to be able to play alongside someone like that, I mean, it's a huge deal for me because we can feed off of that, especially with Verse on the edge, taking the load off each other. I mean, the offensive line is going to have to decide which way they're going to slide and who they're going to double on. But yeah, a player of that caliber playing next to him, I mean, that's going to be an unbelievable opportunity, something I haven't had in my career, and yeah, I'm really excited. I think he's going to have an awesome senior season, so I look forward to playing next to him.
All right, last one. We'll go back to Ira.
Other than maybe checking in to see how Wyatt was doing, I'm sure you probably haven't watched a lot of Florida State football last season anyway. Once the process started, did you go back and watch some games, and what did you think when you watched that team?
Yeah, I mean, I've already gotten a chance to actually watch a decent amount just being in the building and watching film. But, yeah, even watching the last game of the season against Oklahoma, just the way, the energy the guys play with is big, and just the way the defense flies around. I mean, we got some dogs on that side of the ball, and I'm excited to add to that. But, yeah, that was a big thing that stood out to me was the way the guys are flying around and just, the energy they play with. Guys are making plays. Guys are getting excited for each other. It's a group effort. That's a big deal for a defense, and that's how you get enough hats to the ball. You're going to be a pretty successful defense. I mean, you got more guys with assisted tackles and solo tackles. That's a great defense. So that's a lot of what I saw, and yeah, just really excited to be a part of it.
All right. Thanks, Brady.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.